Economies rise and fall, peak and die, and fluctuate over time. The Team Fortress 2 economy functions in the same way as these real-world economies. However, there is one major difference between these real-world countries and TF2. Our citizens don't have to spend money, or in our case, metal. Well, what do you mean? I'm sure some of you are wondering. What I mean is that no matter if you're employed or not, you have to spend money in the real world, whether it be on gas, shelter, or most applicable, food. Therefore, in the Team Fortress economy, it isn't guaranteed that money is spent. It is entirely possible, but highly unlikely, that no trades will be made in a day. This is why we need an alternate way to spend metal and possibly earn metal besides random drops. Let's take a look at a real-world economy that has been in a bit of the same situation as TF2, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has a pretty good economy, giving its citizens free healthcare, and jobs seem to be on the rise. However, the country has been panicking for years. This is because the country's economy revolves around exporting oil, which year by year, not only does technology improve to hopefully get humanity off of oil, but oil is a natural resource, so the amount is finite, so the days of drilling oil are numbered. Therefore, they've been worried about running out of oil, since that would put a giant hole in their economy. For years, Saudi Arabia has been marginally moving their efforts from oil to other promising efforts to make sure that the economy doesn't take a giant hit when the oil runs out. So let's take the TF2 economy, which has no export technically, and it only gives wealth to players via random drops. Players don't have to spend metal, and what they can spend it on is cosmetics, and that's pretty much it. The Team Fortress team hasn't exactly had a ton of manpower to implement an economy revamp, so I can't exactly blame them, but the economy doesn't have the backup for when our main source of commerce ends. Unlike Saudi Arabia, I like to argue that we've reached that point. Also, unlike Saudi Arabia, we haven't had another system to cushion the crash. As metal continues to be devaluated at a rapid rate, people seem to think that this is solely because of the lack of a metal sink. While the underlying problem is that there isn't a metal sink, we've missed the problem of the accelerator. In TF2, the accelerator is the issue of bots. Bots, in our case, are a 2-in-1 issue. They've essentially brought along the industrial era of trading since they streamline trading, make the rise and fall of demand much faster to not needing to wait. Then they're also an underlying issue. Due to idle bots obtaining metal and giving it to their respective masters, adds metal to the giant pool that already exists, making the problem worse. Uncle Dane has mentioned that when he went to Valve, a member of the TF team told him that they banned thousands of idle accounts, but they essentially just pop back up since whoever owns them just made more to compensate. If you're trying to trade in the non-unusual economy, you're not going to avoid bots. If none of you have noticed because of only being unusual traders or something along those lines, you've picked a very good time to be out of the lower economy. As it stands right now, it's almost impossible to make profit, as whoever has a bot rules the buying of non-unusual items and most of the time also has control of selling the items as well. I'll show you a few examples, but to be honest, I don't think I really need to. Just look up any unique cosmetic, and the top buyer will probably be a bot, and the second and following sell orders will also be bots. I can't exactly blame those who have given up on trading because they can't put money into the game or refuse to, as the normal trading market has been monopolized by a silent oligarchy of those who have bots to trade for them. So I'm sure you're wondering, well, what can we do? And to be honest, there's not much you can do in terms of idling bots. However, for trading bots, just trade with real people instead of bots. But I'm sure most of you won't do that because either A, the bots can sell for lower, or B, you want your items right now. However, if you can help out a fellow trader rather than a bot, I highly encourage it. Most of this falls into Valve's hands. I'm pretty sure having automatic bot accounts is actually against the terms of service, but I won't go into that. Nevertheless, I thought I had a simple solution to the idling problem, which was that Valve would need to make drops only available in casual or competitive modes, which I think the community has universally agreed on. And that's good with me if they still decide to do this. I thought the solution would be simple, since people who are actually playing the game would kick those who are AFK, essentially doing Valve's job for them. However, recently, I was finishing up the bait people onto the point simulator contracts that are the map contracts when I joined a game of Dust Bowl. Now, I got on and chose Soldier to play as we had an engineer, a pyro, and 6 snipers. I didn't think anything of it, because, you know, hey, this is a pub. So when I get in, I actually see all 6 snipers idling, so of course I pick one, try to kick it, and as soon as I do, it looks around just a little, the vote fails, 3 against 6, and then I'm kicked, 6 against 3. When bots are in groups, they rule the votes on the server, negating the whole reason of making it that they can't get drops on non-Valve servers. This by itself has been stressing me out, since, say, Valve makes it so you automatically get kicked after 2 minutes of inactivity. Then, whoever owns them will just make the bots move every 1 minute and 59 seconds. Then if you can't get drops if you don't leave spawn, the owners will just use the TF2 offline bot AI or something along those lines. Nevertheless, I can't exactly see a solution to this issue besides just to IP ban the offenders, assuming that they're not using a VPN. If they are using a VPN, then I have no clue. If Valve wanted to take their time with it, they'd see who the bots are trading everything to, then ban that user. But that would take too many resources to warrant doing. To sum this all up, bots have accelerated the downfall of the economy by a large amount. Instead of having time to work on a metal sync and implement it, the time has already arrived and there's no metal sync, driving up the prices of keys and relevance to refined and making it even more impossible for normal traders to trade up to an unusual. Trading bots have a monopoly, and the idling bots make the issue worse. In my opinion, the bot problem should be solved before the metal sync problem, but I have no idea how Valve would solve it. Valve, if you're watching, while this isn't priority number 1, can you put it on your list of things to deal with? Thanks everyone for watching, and have a good night.